This Downtown Sports Rant is being brought to you ad-free by Digital Market Battles, the marketing agency that will help your business fill their pipeline with high-valued leads. They will meet your conversion goals no matter what. Just go to digitalmarketbattles.com. Get your discovery call done today, now including AI. Jonathan Pariente, the Beast of the East, here with you, coming at you solo today. And as we dive into now the last month and a half of the baseball season, we're a week removed from the trade deadline, and we've gotten to see where some of our teams are now over the course of play. Love what the Red Sox did, bringing in Adley Rutschman. He was activated off the IL yesterday. I like what the Cubs did, beefing up their rotation because they had a lot of injuries. Getting Peterson was huge. Getting Clay Holmes was big. And we're starting to see the dividends of that paying off now. Now, one thing I'd like to really dive into, particularly because the major focus was the lack of offense, and that's the Yankees. Now, a lot of things changed in a week. A lot of things can change in a week. So the Yankees faced a lot of criticism for how they didn't make enough additions at the deadline. They got Elliot Ramos, you got Luis Garcia Jr., you got rid of some dead weight on the team, and you thought, okay, I mean, the Yankees addressed a problem, but fans didn't feel like the Yankees stressed it enough. They didn't address it enough. Cashman got a lot of heat, and rightfully so, because you had other options. The Yankees, at that point, needed to get a catcher because Austin Wells had not been hitting. The Yankees needed another arm in the bullpen because you had to worry if the pen was going to get taxed. You thought, yeah, Mason Miller was going to be a Yank. You thought, oh, the Yanks were going to get Ryan Jeffers off the Twins. They were maybe going to get Morejón. All that didn't happen. All that did not happen. The Padres started to come back to playing winning baseball, and A.J. Preller decided to keep his guys. He didn't trade either Miller or Morejón. Okay, that's one. The Twins were still hovering around 500. They got a couple wins there, kind of right into the deadline. They ended up not moving Jeffers. Okay. So the Yankees had to deal with the two additions they made, and you had to wonder, well, something else needed to change. Well, finally, fans were waiting for it, and finally they got it. The Yankees finally called up their top prospect. They did so last week in George Lombard Jr. People knew this kid had talent. A lot of teams wanted Lombard from the Yankees if they were going to make any trade, as far as getting a big piece in return was concerned. But Cashman stayed adamant he was not trading Lombard. Now, I know so far it's been a week. It's been early. Sometimes it's amazing what happens when you bring up the kids from the minors and let them play. Because it's not only just Lombard who's here and has made a difference. Now we're starting to see Spencer Jones make a difference. Yeah, the bad bat on Jones was he strikes out a lot. Okay, he's a young kid. I get it. He has a lot of power, swings a good bat. Of late, Spencer Jones has been raking. Today, Yankees beat the Mariners 10-5. Spencer Jones had a couple of huge hits, including a 2-run double. And remember, the Yankees were pretty much since June almost dead last in runs scored. They were dead last in average. They were dead last in... They basically were at one point hitting a buck with runners in scoring position, just going into the Mariners series. I know, I didn't forget the terrible performance they played against St. Louis. And yeah, they beat Atlanta. They came back and then beat the Braves 2 out of 3. I know, 2 of them were low scoring. It was a 5-4 game, which was good, an improvement. And again, Jones showed you what he could do that game. He got 2 hits against Chris Sale. That should tell you something. And he scored 3 RBIs in that game. Okay. Then you saw Jones come alive in this game. And you've also seen Jones cover ground very well in the outfield. I wasn't sure if Jones was going to be a solid outfielder. At least in the early going, I wasn't so sure. But I like what he's doing. He's got some speed. He's got more speed than I thought for a big man like that he is. If he can learn to cut on the strikeouts a bit, and if he can learn to hit the ball to all fields and not just pull the ball and not just only swing for the long ball, I think the Yankees have a special kid here, a special hitter in him. And now that you're giving him regular at bats because Judge, Bellinger, Stanton are all out. Bellinger, though, could be back pretty soon, and that's going to be good for the Yanks. Possibly, likely, you move Trent Grisham. You kind of see what you have there. Okay. Then you look at Lombard. And boy, what a difference he's made. Finally, when Lombard got up here, the Yankees finally got rid of the dead weight in Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, guys that had their chance. Volpe had been here for a couple years. He had all the time to play his position. He just couldn't do it. I had a cringe every time a ball was hit to Volpe. Would he field it clean? Would he throw a clean? Would he make a smooth throw? Every time it was like an adventure when the ball went to Volpe. And listen, he seems like a nice he seems like a good kid. I'm not denying that Volpe has taken the demotion okay. I mean, he's handled it pretty professionally. I'll give him that. I don't think you're going to see Volpe back up here anytime soon. Unless maybe does he go to second? I have no idea if the Yanks even do that. So you bring up Lombard, and you weren't sure was he going to make a difference right away. I mean, sometimes when you're plugged as the next best thing, the pressure can get to you. Maybe you try to do too much. Lombard has not only handled it so well. Right now, he's exceeding expectations with maybe where people thought he would be when he came up here. I know he's only been up here for what? 7 games? Okay, he's only been up here for 7 games. And already, the plays he's been making in the infield are miles from what Volpe would have done. He can extend to his left. He has a strong arm. He's been able to really handle any ball hit to him, and he just has very good ability to read where the ball's going. Not to mention, he swings a good bat. His plate presence is good. He has good patience at the plate. He doesn't give at bats away, which I love. And this kid is only 21. From what I've seen of Lombard already, I'm getting some Jeter vibes. Definitely reminds me of Derek Jeter quite a bit. A young Jeter. Doesn't have to rely on hitting the home run. He has 2 home runs this year, including one that he hit in his debut, which was cool. I mean, I'm happy for that. I mean, it's a nice accomplishment. But I'm just happy with how Lombard carries himself. He's always looking forward to the next game, not every player is prepared like that. Not every player is wired like that. For Lombard, the transition's been so far pretty smooth, pretty seamless right now. And him and Ryan McMahon have really anchored the left side of the infield, which is something the Yankees had been struggling with. They just couldn't find somebody that could field their position and just give you that confidence. Hey, the ball's going to him. I know he's going to make that play. He's going to make that big throw. Those are game-changing plays when you have a good infielder that can make some difficult plays with the glove. And so far, Lombard has done every bit of showing why the Yankees did not want to trade him. So this could be another positive as far as another arm the Yankees have developed out of the farm. Let's hope it continues. Since Lombard's been up here, Yanks are 5-2 with Lombard here. That's pretty good. I can't fault that. The rest of the lineup is now slowly. I was at a game last night, so I could tell you the lineup is slowly starting maybe to get their hitting back in order, but it's 2 games. But the Yankees put up 10 runs today. That's a first. I can't remember the last time the Yankees scored double-digit runs. That's how long it's been. Go back to June when Judge got hurt. The Yankee offense over the past month and change have struggled to score at least 3 runs. More importantly, this turnaround couldn't have come at a better time because remember about a week ago, and it was going into the break, the Red Sox were not losing games. They won 15 in a row. They went 27-3 at one point. They just looked untouchable. And suddenly now, the Red Sox have lost 5 in a row. They were half a game behind the Yankees once. They could have overtaken the Yankees and dropped them to third in the East. And finally, the Yankees had buckled down and finally have cushioned their lead a little bit. Now they're 4 games up on Boston. The only problem now, the Rays have not been losing. Yankees are still 5.5 back of the Rays. They do have 4 games against the Rays left, and they're going to really have to stay in a close proximity to the Rays when that series happens, which will not be till later in the year. But we're getting into like late August, going into September. That's when things really start to heat up. You know, the Rays are not going to have an easy schedule either. They're going to have to play Boston. They're going to have to play Toronto a couple more. The Orioles. As you get to the end of the year, you're going to be playing your division. That's just how it stacks up. So this is not a gimme for anybody here. And don't think the Yankees can't close the gap. The crazy thing with the Yanks, with everything that has happened to them, with their inability to hit consistently and their inability to drive in key runs, although now they've been doing it over the last couple of games, which is good, the pitching has never wavered. And that's been a very big positive. But sometimes, you wonder, man, what if the Yankees had scored some runs and you wouldn't have wasted a couple of gems by Schlittler. You wouldn't have wasted a gem or two by Weathers. You wouldn't have wasted a gem, heck, from Will Warren at one point. You wouldn't have wasted a couple of gems from Max Fried or from Garrett Cole. The pitching has handled things well. The bullpen's been huge. Hedrick, Bednar has been a lockdown combo. If the Yankees can get the hitting back in order, and obviously when they get their big bats back in the lineup, it will change things tremendously. But now we're beginning to kind of see the Yankees with what they have. Maybe now the hitting is starting to come around just a bit. I know I've been down on Austin Wells, and a lot of people fairly have a right to say that. He's been hitting a $170 all year, and he had a terrible first half. But of late, he's been hitting around 270, 280. He's been hitting the ball cleaner. He's not popping up like he used to, at least this month. Everything Wells has been hitting has been to the gap. He's been hitting the line drives. Wells is finally maybe starting to turn a corner with the bat. Let's hope that continues. Luis Garcia Jr., he's been a welcome addition to this Yankees lineup since coming here from the trade deadline, and he's helped really kind of balance out the middle of the order. He's been playing a pretty decent first base. I wasn't sure how good, if he was a consistently good fielder, but he's been able to play first good. You give Ben Rice a little time at DH. You kind of give them a little breather every now and again. Garcia has only struck out on only once since he's been here. He's been putting the ball in play, and that's what the Yankees really have needed. Someone that can put the ball in play, a contact hitter. So it does kind of make up for some of the moves the Yankees didn't make in the deadline. And at least for now, things maybe have stabilized a little bit. But the real test is going to be when the Yankees go on the road following the Mariners series. It's going to get very important now that the Yankees must string together a winning streak of at least about 5 games or so. And again, you have to do everything in your power to try to close in on the Rays, and it's not going to be easy. But here's the Yankees' schedule for the rest of August, and it's going to be a very crucial stretch of games, particularly to end August. This is where it gets really challenging. So the Yankees will go on the road, 6 games, all against their own division. 3 at Toronto, 3 at Baltimore, and then a very important 10-game homestand immediately follows that. You play the Blue Jays again at home. The Astros come home. They've been playing better lately. And then, of course, 4 games at home against the Red Sox. You talk about a very important point in the season is going to be right there. Judge likely won't be back until sometime in mid-September. He is starting to do some light weightlifting. He's been doing some light running. He's coming, but you can't rush it. Bellinger's likely the first one that will be up here. Maybe if you're lucky, start of September, he probably could be back. Maybe another 2 weeks, perhaps, if we're being kind. But Cody's been doing good. He's been out there, so. But a grade 2 hamstring strain you have to be very careful with. Stanton will probably be the next one behind Cody. Judge will probably be the last one online. Rodon is getting close to returning, so you have to find a way how you're going to pencil him back into the rotation. I think Warren is going to be the odd man going to the bullpen. Warren has had his ups and downs. He's had some good, but he's had also some struggling starts. Today, he didn't really have his best outing today. Yankees still managed to win the game despite it, but you need your starters to be consistent. And so far, Weathers has proven himself. That was another move a lot of people were knocking too. Was Weathers going to be good for this offense? Was he going to be good on this rotation? And so far, he's actually been good. He's been rock solid in this rotation. You like the way that he's gone out there. You like how he's been attacking hitters. There were concerns, but so far Weathers has really proven himself. I would think he will stay in the rotation, but we'll have to see. Maybe the Yankees might move him. So there's going to be some questions. There's definitely going to be some questions. I mentioned the Yankees are playing the Blue Jays next. The Blue Jays have been heating up slowly. They may be 4 under 500, but they're starting to play like the Blue Jays we saw last year. And that's, if you're the Yankees, you put yourself on notice. It hasn't been the year the Blue Jays would have liked. Their pitching has struggled. It's not been sharp. The offense, pretty much up until this point, had been lackluster. Vlad Guerrero Jr. to see him hitting 260 is almost unthinkable. It's like unheard of for him to be struggling. Springer was struggling a bit. The whole middle of that lineup was not really hitting. They're starting to get their swing back, and obviously playing in Toronto is going to be a very tall order. It's not been a friendly place for the Yankees to play. So the Yankees are going to have to bring everything they have when they go into Toronto following tomorrow's final game against Seattle. And you hope the Yankees can go for the sweep against the Mariners. They've already taken the series. Going for the sweep would be huge. And of course, the Rays await the Yankees one more time, which they will see in September. And that's going to be a very important series. And that's going to be almost toward the end of September. That's literally like the last week of the season. So these are going to be very important games now down the stretch for the Yanks. There's no more margin for error. I like that the Yankees finally realized they needed to shore up the infield. They did that bringing up Lombard, and he's been solid. McMahon has played well. You're actually seeing better play out of Jazz lately, at least in the field to a degree. I'll say that since Lombard's been up here, the Yankee infield has only committed one error. And ironically, that was today with Lombard, who just couldn't make a throw on a transfer. But aside from that, the Yankee infield has definitely tightened up. You're seeing better play out of the infield now. You're seeing better plays on. So that's what you want to see. Now the key is, can it continue? That's what we're going to find out. Of course, Lombard will be playing in his first road series with Toronto being the first place, so that'll be a very good test for him. But so far, he's handled the pressure quite well. So the Yankees have been treading water for about a month now since Judge, about a month and a half to 2 months since Judge got hurt. And since Stanton went down, and for the last couple weeks since Cody went down. Now, how long can they keep this up? Well, that's going to be up to the Yankees, and they're going to have to continue to win the important games here, and you can't give games away now. This is not the time to be giving games away. Not at this stretch of the year. Not when you need every bit of games you need to win when you have a chance. Do not let those opportunities slip. We're now 120 games in with 42 to play. So now, let's see how the Yankees respond as they get to a very important part of the schedule as we're getting toward the latter end of the summer. The very important games are coming up after Seattle, and the Yankees had better be ready to tackle that schedule because that's also where the Yankees have really struggled, is against the American League East. That's been their biggest struggle, has been against their own division this year. And right now, as I look at the numbers, the Yankees are at 500 against their own division this year, which is really not the place they want to be. Yanks are 5-2 against Baltimore. They're 4-3 against Toronto, but 4-5 against the Red Sox and 3-6 against the Rays. So those numbers have to improve into this stretch of games against the East. This is going to make or break where the Yankees are by the end of the year. This is going to make or break if they can pass the Rays, if they hold on to the first wild card. So Yankees have to be ready for this stretch of games coming up. And with that, that's going to wrap up this Downtown Sports Rant. I want to thank Chris DeLarge. I want to thank Tony Mainville. Mouth of the South, John Schiavone will join me next week as we dive into more around the league, around baseball. NFL season is kicking off. Preseason's coming up in just a matter of days. We're coming up very quickly on football season. It's a month away. NBA season's not too far away either. It's already been revealed. The Knicks will play the Sixers to kick off the year at Madison Square Garden. I mean, you figure how fitting is that, right? The Sixers beef up their team, and the Knicks, the defending NBA champions, will get their first shot against the Sixers, and we'll see how they match up with them. What better could you ask for? You can listen to Downtown Sports. We're on 24 different platforms. We're on Spotify for Creators, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Bullhorn, Podbay, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Verbal, Castro.fm, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Podvine, Podyssey, Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, YouTube, and TikTok. Episodes, rants, digital, market battles, specials every week. We are Downtown Sports, and we are where sports come home. Jonathan Pariente, Beast of the East, saying goodbye and good night.